Lonely Lake Monster, Chapter 13, Part 2, Cobblestone. A lake monster, you say? He sneezed, and this time the gold dust shot out of his ears. Lake monsters have tiny fish brains. They'd be easy to trick. Take Cobblestone to the lake monster. Pearl knew it was wrong to take an imaginary creature out of the hospital. When the Sasquatch had escaped, Mr. Tabby had said that imaginary creatures were not allowed in the known world. But the lake monster was living in the lake, so it must be safe out there on the hospital grounds. Pearl simply had to keep the leprechaun from going beyond the wrought iron fence and into the town of Buttonville. If a leprechaun was spotted running around, magazine and television reporters would show up, and Dr. Wu's hospital for imaginary creatures would be discovered. No doubt about it. "You must follow me," she told him with a stern look. "Don't go anywhere else." He nodded. "Everything will be okay," Pearl told herself as she walked up the hill, the gold's weight making her footsteps wobbly. A wish would be granted, a boy set free. She didn't have to turn around to know the leprechaun was following, because his high-heeled boots made little clacking sounds. After they'd both climbed onto the conveyor belt, Pearl pushed the button. The belt hummed and began its return journey. Pearl ducked her head as she entered the dark tunnel. There was still no sign of Mr. Tabby as Pearl and Cobblestone made their way from the identification room and through the lobby. Pearl unbolted and opened the hospital's front door. Unfortunately, Mrs. Mulberry and Victoria were still waiting beyond the gates. Were they going to sit there all day? Didn't they have anything better to do? The leprechaun peeked around Pearl's knee. "Humans," he grumbled as he spied the pair. "Cobblestone doesn't like humans." "There are good humans and bad humans," Pearl told him, "and those are definitely bad humans." How could she sneak the leprechaun past the mulberries? "Stay behind me," she told him. Then, like a crab, she walked sideways along the front of the building, shielding the leprechaun from view. Victoria never looked up from her book, but Mrs. Mulberry continued to spy through her binoculars. "Yoo-hoo! I see you, Pearl Petal, and I see—" Mrs. Mulberry fell silent. Pearl moved as quickly as she could. Once they'd turned the corner and were out of sight, she led the way down the path that she and Ben had trampled earlier. The leprechaun's tools clanked and clinked as he followed. "Perhaps you want a pair of princess shoes made from dwarf crystals. They sparkle and be pink." "Princess shoes?" Pearl rolled her eyes. "Why would I want sparkly pink princess shoes?" "She who wears princess shoes be destined to meet a prince." "A prince?" The gold's weight pulled on Pearl's arms. "A real prince?" There were no princes in Buttonville, unless you counted Harvey Dill, who'd been crowned Prince of Buttons in last year's Founders' Day parade. He got to wear a button-covered cloak and a plastic crown from the dollar store. Of course a real prince. Results be guaranteed in 72 hours. Hold on a minute. Pearl stopped walking and looked down at the leprechaun. "Are you saying that if I wear a pair of shoes called princess shoes, I will meet a real prince in—" She counted the hours in her head. "In 3 days?" He nodded. While Pearl had no desire to wear sparkly shoes, the result sounded interesting. Would the prince arrive in Buttonville on a horse? Would he fly in on a private jet? Maybe he'd spend a lot of money at the dollar store. That would be great. Never mind rescuing the boy named Ben. The leprechaun held out his hands. "Give Cobblestone the gold, and you will have a pair of princess shoes." A breeze blew across Pearl's face. She imagined a front-page photo in the Buttonville Gazette of her and Prince whatever his name was. This time the headline wouldn't be about her troublemaking. Well, she wiggled her toes against the dollar store flip-flops. Well, help! Ben's voice shot through the air.